You just got paid, checked your bank account, and immediately felt robbed. You worked 80 hours, but your check says you only brought home enough for half your rent. Where did the rest go? The government? Your employer? A black hole? Today, I'm breaking down exactly where your money disappears to, and why no one taught you how to read the receipt for your own labor. All right, let's talk about something nobody prepared us for. Understanding our own paychecks. You spent 4 years in high school learning about the mitochondria, but no one taught you how to decode the piece of paper that funds your entire life. Wild, right? You're watching M-Cubed Money Mindset Makeover. This isn't just a channel. It's a mindset revolution. Subscribe to elevate your money mindset, elevate your life, and stick around, because today, we're cracking the blueprint that can take you from broke to baller. Here's what's happening. You're working hard, clocking in, doing your thing, but when payday rolls around, you feel like you got scammed. You thought you were making $45,000 a year, but your bank account is telling a different story. That's because your paycheck stub is packed with codes, abbreviations, and deductions that feel like a foreign language. But by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what every line means, where your money's going, and how to spot if something's off. This is financial literacy they don't want you to have. Let's get it. First things first, your pay stub is like the nutrition label on your work. It tells you what you're made of, financially speaking. It's got your gross pay, your net pay, your deductions, and a bunch of other stuff that looks like alphabet soup. But here's the thing. This document is your proof of income. It's what you need when you're applying for an apartment, getting a loan, or just trying to make sure your boss isn't shorting you. So yeah, it matters. Let's start with the big one, gross pay versus net pay. Gross pay is the total amount you earned before anything gets taken out. If your job offer said $50,000 a year, that's your gross. That's the dream number. The if life was fair number. But, plot twist, you don't get to keep all of it. Net pay? That's what actually hits your account. That's your reality check pay. It's what's left after the government, your insurance, your 401k, and everyone else who wants a piece takes their cut. And depending on where you live and what benefits you've signed up for, your net pay can be 20% to 30% less than your gross. Sometimes more. Think of it like this. Gross pay is the pizza you ordered. Net pay is what's left after your roommates, your dog, and that one friend who wasn't hungry all took a slice. You're left with 2 pieces wondering where the rest of your pizza went. The federal government's slice, FICA, and federal income tax. Now let's talk about who's taking the biggest slices. Spoiler, it's the IRS. You'll see something on your stub called FICA. No, it's not a new coffee brand. FICA stands for Federal Insurance Contributions Act. And it's basically the government's way of saying, we're taking this now so you don't die broke when you're 70. FICA breaks down into 2 parts. Social Security tax is 6.2% of your gross pay. Medicare tax is 1.45% of your gross pay. So right off the bat, 7.65% of your check is gone. And yeah, the idea is that this money funds Social Security and Medicare, which you'll supposedly benefit from when you retire. But let's be real. Our generation is out here side hustling at 60 because we don't trust that the system's gonna hold up. Still, you don't get a choice. They take it automatically. Then there's federal income tax. This one's based on how much you make and your tax bracket. The more you earn, the higher percentage they take. And this is where it gets spicy. Your employer guesses how much tax you owe based on the W-4 form you filled out when you got hired. Remember that? You probably just checked some boxes and kept it moving. But those boxes determine how much gets withheld from every check. If you claimed 0 allowances, they're taking out more. If you claim dependents, they're taking out less. And here's the kicker. If they take out too little, you owe money when you file taxes. If they take out too much, you get a refund. But that refund? That's not a win. That's your money that the government borrowed interest-free for a year. You essentially gave them a loan. For free. State and local taxes, the regional robbery. Depending on where you live, you might also see state income tax and even local or city tax on your stub. Some states don't have income tax, shout out to Texas, Florida, and Nevada, but most do. And if you live in a place like New York City or San Francisco, you're getting hit with city tax on top of state tax on top of federal tax. It's like a combo move in a fighting game, except you're the one getting knocked out. These percentages vary, but they add up fast. The stuff you actually signed up for, benefits and deductions. Now let's talk about the deductions that are technically optional, but not really, because adulting. Health insurance. If your employer offers health benefits and you opted in, you're probably paying a portion of the premium every paycheck. This can range from $50 to $300 plus per month, depending on your plan and whether you're covering just yourself or a family. Yeah, it sucks to see that chunk gone, but trust me. One ER visit without insurance and you'll be paying that monthly premium for the rest of your life in medical debt. Dental and vision insurance. Usually cheaper, like $10, $30 per check. Not mandatory, but if you've ever needed a root canal or new glasses, you know it's worth it. Retirement contributions, 401k or 403b. If you're smart and contributing to your employer's retirement plan, this shows up as a deduction too. A lot of jobs will match your contribution up to a certain percentage. That's literally free money. If you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving cash on the table. But we'll save that rant for another video. HSA or FSA, Health Savings Account or Flexible Spending Account. These let you set aside pre-tax money for medical expenses. Again, it reduces your paycheck now, but it saves you money in the long run because it lowers your taxable income. Other stuff. Some stubs will show union dues, parking fees, uniforms, wage garnishments, yikes, or student loan payments if your employer offers automatic deduction programs. Read every line. Know where it's going. Here's the problem. Most of us have no idea what's on our pay stubs. We just see a number hit our account and start spending. We don't check if we're being taxed correctly. We don't verify our hours. We don't even know if we're supposed to be getting overtime. And that's by design. The system banks on financial ignorance. They want you to feel confused, overwhelmed, and too embarrassed to ask questions. Because if you don't understand your pay stub, you won't notice when your employer miscalculates your hours. You're being taxed in the wrong bracket. Deductions are coming out twice. You're not getting paid for overtime you worked. I've seen people lose hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars a year just because they never looked at their pay stubs. One guy I know worked overtime every week for 6 months and didn't realize his employer wasn't paying him time and a half. By the time he caught it, he was owed over $4,000. He got it back, but only because he finally learned to read his stub. But once you know how to read that pay stub, you take back power. You become the auditor of your own income. You stop being a passive player in your financial life and start being the CEO. Have you or someone you know ever been shorted on a paycheck because you didn't check the stub? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else avoid losing their hard-earned cash. Now let's level up. Reading your pay stub isn't just about making sure you got paid. It's about building the budget pillar of your financial foundation. See, you can't budget accurately if you're using your gross pay as your income. That's like planning a road trip based on a full tank of gas when you're actually starting on empty. Your budget needs to be based on your net pay, the real amount you bring home. Once you know your net pay, you can reverse engineer your life. You know exactly how much is available for rent, groceries, savings, investing, and yes, fun. You're not guessing. You're not hoping it works out. You're operating off facts. And here's where the save and invest pillars come in. When you see those retirement contributions and HSA deductions on your stub, you're literally watching yourself build wealth. Every paycheck, a piece of your future is being constructed. That's not money disappearing, that's money working. The earn pillar. That's about making sure every hour you work is accounted for. If you're salaried, your stub should reflect your agreed upon rate. If you're hourly, check those hours. Check that overtime. Check for bonuses, commissions, or raises that should have kicked in. This is where broke ends and ownership begins. You're not just clocking in anymore. You're verifying that your labor is being valued and compensated correctly. You're making sure the people who profit off your work aren't skimming off the top. You're treating yourself like a business because you are one. You are a one-person economy and your pay stub is your financial statement. Here's the mindset shift. Your paycheck stub isn't just a receipt. It's a report card on your financial health. If your deductions are out of control, that's a red flag. If your net pay barely covers your bills, that's a signal you need to either cut expenses, increase income, or both. If you're not contributing to retirement or health savings, that's a gap you need to fill. But you can't fix what you don't see. And you can't see it if you don't read the stub. Here's the real twist. Financial freedom doesn't start with $1 million idea or a viral TikTok. It starts with understanding the money you already make. Every dollar on that pay stub is a soldier in your army. And if you don't know where your soldiers are, how can you send them into battle? How can you deploy them to fight debt, build savings, or invest in your future? The wealthiest people in the world didn't get there by ignoring the details. They got there by knowing every number, every line, every deduction. They treat their finances like a science, not a guessing game. You don't need to be rich to think like this. You just need to care enough to look. So here's your challenge. Pull up your last pay stub right now. Open it. Look at every single line. Google the ones you don't understand. Compare your gross to your net. Check your tax withholdings. Verify your hours. Make sure your benefits are correct. Do this every single pay period. Make it a ritual. Make it non-negotiable. Because the moment you understand your pay stub is the moment you stop being a victim of your paycheck and start being the architect of your wealth. Let's recap. Your pay stub has 3 main zones. 1. Gross pay. What you earned before deductions. 2. Deductions. Taxes. FICA, federal, state, local, and benefits. Health insurance, retirement, etc. 3. Net pay. What actually hits your bank account. FICA takes 7.65%. Federal income tax varies based on your bracket. State and local taxes depend on where you live. Then you've got your health insurance, retirement contributions, and any other benefits you signed up for. All of this adds up. And if you're not paying attention, you're flying blind. But now, you're not. You know what every line means. You know where your money's going. You know how to catch errors, optimize your withholdings, and build a budget based on reality, not fantasy. This is how you go from broke to boss, one pay stub at a time. Reminder to my awesome fans to check out my shorts too. My latest is titled Paid on Monday, Broke by Friday. Stick and stay, I've got your back. See you there, M-Cubed family.